Welcome to Withdraw Consent. I'm Jack. So basically, this week I was talking to my father about that episode that I did. It's going to be published 2 weeks previous to this exact episode. And it covered basically about Abraham and Isaac and sacrificing him, and that how the descendants of Abraham will bless all the nations. And my father said, but so many Jewish people have gotten Nobel Prizes. Like the numbers are extraordinary, and what a blessing they've been to the world. He said that from that perspective, he said, he also said some other stuff, which I'll relate probably later in this episode. But basically, I said, okay, hey, I'm going to research this. I'm going to make an episode, right? And so this is going to go great because the rest of the week, we're going to also be looking at statistics of overrepresentation on Wednesday in politics and four-letter agencies and Biden's cabinet and all that. And then on Thursday, we're going to be looking at all the CDC directors, media, entertainment, all this stuff. We're going to be looking at whether or not there is overrepresentation of Jewish people. So basically, I researched the Nobel Prize stuff, and I'm going to give you my conclusion, and then Victor's got a good take at the end that I'm going to pitch to you, okay? But first, if you say, well, Jewish people, right, they are, it's proven, like scientifically, that they are higher in intelligence than other people, right? If you believe that, that's a bunch of baloney, okay? And I'm not going to disprove that for you because the best video was done about it ever. I've linked it in maybe 2 other videos. It's going to be the first reference below, reference number 1. And it's going to be a YouTube video by a guy named Leather Apron Club. And he did it way better than I can do it. So I'm just going to link you to his. If you believe that Jewish IQ story, it's completely fake. There's kibbutzes and there's all types of stuff going on with special children. It's just stupid to think, right? Now, it could be the case that they are smarter, but there's no scientific study that proves it because the scientific studies they've used are completely bunk, right? And if you want to see that, you can go to the first reference below. So now we're going to look at the actual facts of how many Jewish people, how many Nobel Prizes Jewish people have gotten. And let's just go. Okay, of the 965 individual recipients of the Nobel Prize and the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Sciences between 1901 and 2023, at least 214 have been Jews or people with at least one Jewish parent, representing 22% of all recipients. Jews comprise only 0.2% of the world's population, meaning their share of winners is 110 times their proportion of the world's population. Okay, so that's kind of what my father said too. Anyways. And that's funny that they said recipients of the Nobel Prize and the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Sciences. That's funny that they said that, okay? Because there's 6 different Nobel Foundation awards, okay? The topics are chemistry, economics, literature, peace, physics, and then the last category is psychology or medicine, okay? Basically, Jewish people have been awarded 36 Nobel Prizes in chemistry, which is 19% of the total. Let's just talk about that real fast, right? I went and looked at all the chemistry winners, and I don't know any of the names of the Jewish people who won those prizes, but it seems pretty legitimate. I'm not a chemist, so I can't. My sister's a chemist. I should have literally pictures to her, but next category in economics, Jewish people got 38 of the Nobel Prizes, which is 41% of the total prizes, Nobel Prizes ever given in economics. That's insane, right? Now, when you go down and you look at the people who won prizes in economics, the Jewish people, the only one I know is Milton Friedman. I'm not huge on economics. 2 semesters in college. That's all I know. So I can't tell you. People in the comments below, you could tell me, is Milton Friedman trash or not? And if he's good guy, because a lot of good people say he's good, then that would be 1 in 38 is a decent person. Because honestly, we don't want any type of Jewish economics. Like that they won 41% of the prizes is not impressive. We don't want your fiat currency. We don't want your usury. We don't want any of your trash economic principles. We want sound financial policy. Okay. 16 of the prize winners were in literature, which was 13% of the total prize winners in that category. And I looked through it. It's not real trashy, Bob Dylan's on there. It's not like, it doesn't seem too fake, okay? Now, let me tell you one of the things why, I'm going to get to the other categories. Let me tell you one of the things why that this is suspicious. When you go on Wikipedia and you look this up, there's a whole Wikipedia page for overrepresentation of Jewish Nobel Prize laureates, right? And on it says, Jewish laureates Eli Wiesel and Imre Kertész survived the extermination camps during the Holocaust. It literally says that in the article. And you're like, wait, what? And it's like, oh, these next three people survived a terrible situation in Nazi Germany because, and it's like, wait, are we talking about Nobel Prizes or are we talking about the Holocaust? Apparently, surviving the Holocaust gets you a Nobel Peace Prize because there were 9 winners of the Nobel Peace Prize who were Jewish, which is 8% of the total. So this is the one that they're least they're overrepresented in all of them, anywhere from 8 to 41% of the total prizes. This is the lowest one at 8%. The closest one is chemistry. Oh no, literature, and 13% is the closest. The next little bit higher, overrepresentation. This is the lowest overrepresentation. Okay, and so in there, in the category, 3 of the 9 are Israeli prime ministers. Yitzhak Rabin is in there. Who this one is legitimate because he did end up working for peace, and he died at a peace rally. We covered that in the Brute Goldstein video. I'll link it below if you haven't seen it. And then I'm working on a video about how many of U.S. I'm sorry, definitely not U.S. How many Israel prime ministers were war criminals before they became prime ministers? Because that's interesting to me. A lot of American presidents become war criminals, in my opinion, during their presidency, but very few are war criminals before their presidency. Menachem Begin is one of the people on my list for that episode who was a war criminal before he became prime minister of Israel. Now, Yitzhak Rabin is also on my list as a war criminal before he became prime minister of Israel, but he does deserve this prize because I put it in the whole Baruch Goldstein episode, how he turned it around and he wanted peace and this and that. And so Henry Kissinger is on there. Whatever. Eli Wiesel is on there. I told you about him surviving the Holocaust, and he was basically chairman of the Holocaust Committee or something like that, and he got the Peace Prize for that. This guy's a Holocaust grifter. Okay, just imagine that the Holocaust had just happened, and this is the Al Sharpton of that event, right? He's saying that the black girl in the dumpster, he's that guy who's out there race grifting. This is Eli Wiesel. So, because my response to my father was, well, Obama got the Peace Prize for being a black and elected president, and his response to me was, well, it couldn't have always been like that because it started in 1901, you know? And that is true. Like, okay, so that leads us to physics. And this is my opinion of physics. They got 56 of the prizes, which is 25% of the total. And basically in the physics category, I'm not a physics guy, but the earlier ones seem more legitimate and the later ones won't age very well. Like the most recent 2 Jewish people are, I think the most recent one was, he discovered the most super compact object in the center of the entire universe. I mean, okay, sure, whatever. And another guy, he found out like what black holes are made out of. I'm sorry, it smells to me of absolute nonsense. It's not going to age well. Of them, Einstein was the only one I know, and his wife was very intelligent. Took good tests, we'll say. And so that one is what it is. Psychology or medicine is 59 winners, which is 26% of the total winners. And I didn't see anything suspicious in there, but also I don't know any of those names and I'm not in that field, right? So let's look at this slide, right? And it's going to have a country by country breakdown of where these people come from, okay? I'm just going to flash it up on the screen. This is not the entire slide. It's too long to put on here, but every other country down below is one, so it doesn't really matter that much. But as you can see on here, of the Jewish Nobel laureates, 132 came from the United States, 29 from Germany, 20 from the UK, 14 from Russia, 13 from Israel, 11 from Poland, 10 from Austria, 10 from France, and then Hungary, 9655. It goes down and it's kind of a little bit less significant down there, right? South Africa with 4, Morocco with 1. I mean, it's not that interesting when you go too low. So that's what's happening there. So most of the Jewish Nobel laureates are just producing American excellence, not Jewish excellence, because you can see Israel got, I just had it up. What was it, 12? Let me look again. Yeah, Israel itself did 13. You know, and you can say, well, that starts from 1948 to now, and the United States has been doing it from 1901 to now. Okay, good point. But it's a lot of American excellence, I'll just tell you. Anyways, so basically, I'll tell you a little story. The Nobel Prize is given in Stockholm, Sweden, right? So basically, it was canceled, the Nobel Prize, from 1940 to 1945. And I was just interested in knowing this because I was like, well, the Nazis, you know, they invented like, you know, the jet engine and V2 rockets and all the rocketry and all this different stuff. Did they get a lot of Nobel Prizes? The answer was no. Not just because it was canceled between 1940 and 1945 during the occupation of Norway. so that no Nazis ever received a Nobel Prize, but Hitler banned the Nobel Prize in 1937. Okay, so this leads me to Viktor's point here, right? And his point was, okay, so Hitler banned the Nobel Prize in 1937. Now, he was a guy who would have said Germany is going to get the highest number of Nobel Prizes because of German excellence. That's what he would say. And that's fine. Go for it, dude. I'm an American, so I'm just going to blame American excellence on it. Like, whatever. Go for it. Do your nationalist self, right? But Hitler banned the Nobel Prize in 1937, right? Now, before I even had told Viktor about this part of the story, he said, find out how many Jews were on the commission about who picks who gets the Nobel Prizes, right? And I mean, he literally just left the house right now, and I got to film this because I got to go back to work. And so I don't got time to research that. That's interesting. If you do know the answer to that, go ahead and put it in the description below. If you do really know the research, I'll pin it between all platforms because I'm interested to know. I'm guessing the number is pretty high. Because why would, if Hitler was going for German excellence, and history says that they did achieve German excellence just through scientific discovery, just give me that, in rocketry and jet engines, radar, all the different stuff that they developed, even if it was for war purposes, it was still human ingenuity. Why would you ban people from getting it in 1937 unless it was controlled by Jewish people? I mean, would it be surprising? Okay, now before he had even pitched that, and that's a very good idea, my idea was this. Okay, so I referenced the Yitzhak Rabin. I linked to the Yitzhak Rabin movie below. So the second link below, I'm going to put this episode is called "Modern Jews Are Not Who You Think They Are." It's 2 parts in a series, and if you want to see the first part, which is the pre-Jesus part, like all the way back into history, that'll be linked in the description of that video. And basically, if you understand what we said in "Modern Jews Are Not Who You Think They Are," you'll understand that in the United States, 3% of Jews are Sephardic. This is a type of Jew. 1% is Mizrahi, and 63% self-identify as Ashkenazi. You add that up, that's 67%. So basically, 67% is not 100%, right? Basically, what happens is the mass majority of these Jewish people are Ashkenazi. And so basically, when you look at the pictures, it's just a bunch of white people inventing stuff. That's my angle. You know what I mean? Like, you look at it and you're like, I mean, okay, so you follow a cult that believes in terrible things, doing terrible things to goyim children and stuff like that. And okay, but it's like I say when I watch, the show, I like Due Dissidence, and you got these 2 JOOs on there, as they call themselves, and you're looking at Russell Dobler, and he's like, yeah, I'm not Jewish. I'm Jewish. He says, I'm not of Jewish faith, but I've also done a test, and I'm 100% European. What part are you Jewish? And if he got the Nobel Prize, they'd say Russell Dobler, Jewish, Nobel laureate. What on earth part of him is Jewish? He's not of Jewish faith. He's not a convert. He was raised Jewish, but he rejected it. That's what I think happened, right? Because he's from a Jewish family, I think. I don't know. But then he took a blood test. And he's 100% European. Like, I just don't understand. So anyways, that's my point. Now, when I was at the end of the conversation with my father, before I even researched this, I said, hey, but even if you do a lot of good stuff, it doesn't vindicate you for all the terrible stuff you've done, like usury, like being behind both sides of a war, the LGBTQ stuff in Hollywood. Just go down the list. Vaccines, just go down the list of all the categories, which we're going to talk about in the next 2 episodes coming up, right? With massive Jewish overrepresentation in every single one of those fields. And his response was this: when you take something unholy and you touch it to an altar, does the altar become unholy, or does the item become sacred, become holy? This is his opinion, and I think it's a great angle because I've never heard this before. And he said, no, the altar is desecrated. The unholy thing that touches the holy altar does not become holy. That's not a transference. The negative is the dominant force that transfers. Okay, so look, I'm going to play you this little video right now, right? When I was having a conversation with my father, this video is the video that came to my mind, right? And I had saved it on my Gab, and I'm going to post it on my Locals because I'm going to try to pitch you to go to Locals for free after this video. Now, if you're on YouTube, this is a sick video. If you're on YouTube and you can't, and I can't upload it with the sound from the video, then it's just I'm going to detach the audio and delete it on YouTube. It just is what it is. Sorry, here it goes. Anyways, that was what immediately came to mind when we were having this conversation. And so basically, I'm done with the episode. If you want to flip it off, go ahead. I'm going to pitch you something free, right? It's locals. I pitched Subscribestar before. I believe Subscribestar is trash. I have deleted my account there. They stole money from me. They stole my own money from me. When I told you before that I had to put money on, the wife had to put money on so we could get monthly subscribers. No, they stole all that money. So whatever, deleted that account. It is what it is. So now I've made a locals. Well, I had already made the locals actually before I even started filming videos. So a couple years ago, I'd made the locals, but I had never done anything with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start posting little videos to locals. Everything posted on locals is free. You could just become a free follower. It's just like following somebody on YouTube, subscribing on YouTube, just following them on YouTube, following them on Twitter. It's the same thing. You'll be able to see 100% of posts. Now, if you want to, without getting any benefit except for being a swell, wonderful human being, if you wanted to help support the channel, you can use that to put a one-time or a monthly donation of your choice, $5 minimum, right? That's just how that thing is. It's not me. But if you want to, you can help support the channel and you'll receive no additional content for doing so, except for you're a great person, you know? But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start filming some little videos about trying to get people like, if you could help with some research, if you could help with this and that, here's exactly how it would look. And I'll put some additional content on there. Now I'm also going to use it like I have a Gab social account, right? And on it, I used to, because we used to do Gab TV, you know, like we used to have links in every video of this, and Gab TV became no more. I still have that Gab social account. Basically, when I go on there and I click like on some things, like, oh, this is very interesting. Look at this meme. And I grab them and I just like them so that they're in my feed, right? And what I'm going to start doing is treating my locals feed like that. So I'm not going to be putting a bunch of personal garbage on there or anything. But like, for example, that little short meme video that I showed you just a minute ago, you would have seen that 6 weeks ago. You'd have seen that 2 months ago in my locals feed because I'm putting it in there to save it for when I do the future episode. Or you'll see a meme pop up. And it's like, here are the facts about Jews running the slavery ships and this and that. And you'll be like, well, what the heck is he doing this? Well, he's going to do that in a future episode. And so I'm saving it there. But you also get access to a lot of valuable information for free because whether you pay it for it or not, you know, you're just going to get it free because I'm not trying to hide content from people who don't want to pay. And if you do want to pay, you're an awesome human being. That's what I got for you. Wednesday, Thursday, we're talking about Jewish overrepresentation in the United States only. And we're going to see which categories they do. The answer is all of them, spoiler, and I'll see you then.